Hi, angels. In today's episode, I want to share with you my thoughts on the two biggest problems that I have seen that women struggle with over the years. For many years, I've been a personal trainer, run group fitness, had this studio, been a teacher, coach, mentor. And these are the two things that I have seen that stop women in their tracks, that stop them from getting results, that stop them from getting what they want. So I want to go through with you what they are, why they show up, and also how you can shift them, how you can help work through them, how you can find solutions for them, and how you can be a woman that becomes someone who takes exquisite care of herself forever and gets results for the long term, because that's what we want, girls. I want to have the everyday woman, inspire her to live this grounded, connected, confident life, empowered by the spiritual tools, the emotional resilience, and a strong sense of self. Let's dive in. Hello, my beautiful friends. I am coming to you very cash today. I've been up since 3:30, been to the studio, taken some classes, come home, walked my dogs, and I decided to have a swim just out the front. Our yard, it literally is like our house and then grass, and we walk straight down onto the beach, onto the Broadwater. And it was a beautiful high tide, and I'd been feeling so heavy. I've been doing a lot of online work, some projects I'm working on. I have been on the computer, it feels like all week, and my brain feels fried. And I've just felt like I needed a bit of an energetic reset. There's been a lot of collective energy as well as we kind of transitioning from this year of the snake. It's into the new year now, into the year of the horse, but there's still been a lot of layers that need to be shared, a lot of heaviness that people are feeling, a lot of maybe fatigue has been showing up in your body, or maybe you feel like you don't have the energy to do anything, or struggles have been showing up for you again, or there's some things that like you keep needing to work through, almost like these layers that kind of need to be healed for you to then, kind of dive into the new year. So it's not like this automatic, we clock over 31st of January to the 31st of December to the 1st of January, and then everything changes. Like, it doesn't work like that. It can sometimes take that little bit of a time, a little bit of a period to get into that new year swing, or that new year enthusiasm, or feeling like, yeah, I'm like ready to go, got kind of fire in my belly. So I've been feeling so heavy and really just flat and tired, so tired. So I thought, all right, I need to shift my energy. I'm going for a swim because the salt water is so cleansing. It is so healing. It's like it just has this, it's almost like this electric wave of current that kind of, I feel like I've been plugged into a charger when I go for a swim. It's like it kind of rebalances realigns, recalibrates my body, my energy system, and I feel freaking amazing every time I've swum in the salt water. So I'm so casual. I'm in a beach dress, my hair's wet, but whatever, most of you'll be listening. Some of you will see it on YouTube, but who cares? I am what I am. What you see is what you get. So I had been thinking around going into this year, right? I've been thinking about all of my years as I was out there floating in the Broadwater, floating in the salt water. I was thinking about, don't worry, I had moments of mindfulness, definitely had moments of mindfulness and just lost myself in the water. But I also reflect and thinking about you guys, thinking about my business, thinking about what I want to really help women with moving into this new year. And like my I guess like my big picture vision, my big picture goal is I just want to teach women to take care of themselves. I want to see, see this world where the everyday woman, she lives like she's grounded, she's connected, she's confident, she's empowered by the spiritual tools, the emotional resilience, the taking care of herself, the looking after her body, and has this strong sense of self, knows who she is, what she wants, and has this belief in herself, this faith in herself, is learning to love and accept on herself. And I was thinking about, why do women, over the years I've worked with women, why don't they all feel that? Or what stops them from feeling that way? Or what stops them from, why do they give up on themselves? Or why don't, like, why can't more women feel this empowerment or feel this love for themselves? And so I started thinking about all of that, because I've worked with women for, oh gosh, I'm 47 now, like in my 30s, as a personal trainer, as I have the group fitness personal training business, been coaching, been mentoring, been running challenges, running retreats. I was running retreats before I opened the studio. Then I opened the studio, so working in the Earthy Angels environment, in the community, with teaching and working with women in retreats and women's circles. And I thought about all these women that have crossed my path over the years, all the different people that I had been working with, because I could see that some women on the outside look amazing, like they'd maybe back when I used to weigh and measure women, like maybe their body fat percentage was amazing, or their muscle mass was amazing, or they'd lost the kilos that they wanted to lose, and they looked freaking amazing. And I'm like, why don't they feel it? Like, they just don't, the results kind of physically are showing, but internally things haven't shifted for them. They're still doubting on themselves. They're still comparing themselves to other women. They're still not feeling good in themselves. They still want more. They still don't feel satisfied. And I started thinking around all of the results that people had got and still not feeling fulfilled. And I thought, like, why is that? Then I started thinking about women who I had worked with that always stop-started, or never really fully committed to themselves, or never gave it like a full chance, or they would work out seasonally. Spring would come around and then they'd come and take care of themselves, and then winter would roll around, then they'd stop, put on the weight, go back to their old ways, come in again next spring feeling like shit and wanting to go again. I'm like, I used to say to Tom, I'm like, why don't people just, I said this like over 15 years, why don't people work out and do the mindset stuff, do personal development? That's what I said. I said, why? I just don't understand why people don't work out and do the personal development forever and just make it part of who they are, make it part of what they do, make it part of their rituals. Because it's a lot of, to do that consistently, it's a lot of inner motivation. It's a lot of inner drive. It's a lot of having to show up for yourself and having the discipline and having the intrinsic motivation when you don't always feel like it, but you kind of do it anyway. Because I would say to Tom, like, people, when you work on your mindset and you take care of your body, you just can't help feel good. And I would see it ripple out into our marriage, into the confidence in myself, into the way I raise my kids, into like my energy to keep up with life, to keep up with my kids, to do fun things, our travels, our adventures, my personal growth, my mindset, my attitude. And I could see, and my confidence slowly, like, it's always been ups and downs, but progressively it's gotten better. And I'm like, why don't people do this all the time? I just couldn't understand it. And so I made it a habit in my 20s, right? In my 20s, I started working out, doing yoga, going to the gym, more so after I had my kids. Like Riley, I had when I was 25, Brock when I was 27. Then I just was like, I have not stopped working out since I had the kids. Obviously, I had a little bit of a window where I stopped when I was, about to give birth. But majority of the time, like, I just made it part of my lifestyle forever, because I had this vision of like optimal health and fitness for life. My PT business was called Optimal Health and Fitness, and I just made it a goal of mine. I just always want to have energy to keep up with life. I want to have the best life experience. I want to feel my best. So I just made a decision that I just want to keep working out. In my 30s, then I started dabbling in mindset work, and I started reading a lot more books and podcasts and doing courses and going to seminars and doing like online courses, doing trainings, working with coaches. I had my own PT, and I was just doing a lot of personal development stuff. Back then it wasn't podcasts, it was audios like CDs and stuff, or what I could kind of find on YouTube. And then into my 40s, where go back to the earlier episodes when I had this big shift, like this kind of big return to authenticity when I got my breast implants out. And even before that, when I opened the studio, I started on a deep dive spiritual journey. So I kind of went through the the physical, and this is what I found people do, right? If you kind of think of like a little triangle, think of like a pyramid, like a table, at the bottom, what do most people do? Most people do nothing. And it's not because, well, some they just don't want to, but often it's because they don't have they just don't find the time, or they just don't prioritize the time, or they just don't see the value in it because they're just busy surviving, right? They're just busy trying to keep their head above water, get through the day. And so they never really actually take care of themselves. Then there's like a step up from that. Then there's this group of people I would see that they would exercise, basically diet and exercise, where they would work out and they would watch what they ate and they would take conscious care of their nutrition. Then I saw a small amount of people that would add like the mindset, they would read, they would do personal development, they would maybe listen to audios or podcasts, work on strengthening and empowering their mind. But it was very rare that I saw the trilogy of body, mind, and soul enter the spiritual, right? And so that is where I've kind of sat with all of this and thought, what are the two biggest problems that I see with women and not getting the results that they want is the consistency and the spiritual. The spiritual is the missing piece and they're just not consistent. They just don't stick with it. And they were like the two kind of the biggest game changers, like as far as I'm concerned. This is just my opinion. Everyone's got different opinions, but from working with women just through experience and with my own results and my own experience, it's the consistency and the inner work that trumps it every single time. Actions trump motivation, discipline, and being consistent. I would choose someone who's consistent every day of the week over someone that's motivated, because motivation comes and goes. Motivation is fleeting, and consistency, just showing up for yourself, is so powerful, but it is hard. It is really, really hard. And what I started thinking about was like, what are women chasing? Like, what do we actually want, girls? What are we looking for? Is it what we weigh on the scales? Is it our body fat percentage? Is it the clothing size that we wear? Is it, how much muscles we have, or how much, like definition we have, or how toned our abs are? Go a layer deeper. It's not the physical thing. It's the feeling. Like, it's the feeling that we're chasing, right? We want to feel great in our body. We want to feel sexy. We want to feel strong. We want to feel empowered. We want to feel confident. We want to love on ourselves. We actually just want to maybe accept and like our body or like ourselves, but we want this self-love. We want this self-worth. We want to like our body. We want to maybe love on our body. We want to know who we are. We want the freedom to be ourselves. We want to be confident. We want to be, we just want to get through this life with this freedom to go, this is who I am. This is what I want. And just go for it and just be ourselves and trust in ourselves. We basically are looking for that feeling of self-worth, that feeling of self-acceptance, and that feeling and that permission to be our authentic self, and having that confidence to just show up and be our authentic self, having this strong sense of self. That is what we're chasing. So it goes deeper than the measurements. It goes deeper than the results to just lose 5 kilos. It's the feeling that we're chasing, and it's the life experience that we want. Because what happens when we have more confidence, or we have more, we feel energetic and we feel good in ourselves, we get more out of life for ourselves. We get more out of life for our families. We have more life experience. We have the courage and the confidence in ourselves to do certain things, to chase goals. Like, it all comes so many layers deeper than just having the physical validation, the external validation. We're striving for that deep inner feeling of how we want to feel in ourselves. So just going to the gym is not going to give you that. Like, just working out is not going to give you that. The spiritual is the missing piece, like the inner work. I mean, the spiritual, you think about it, the spiritual, what does that mean? It's basically like this practice, doing the spiritual work or doing the inner work. It's this practice of deepening the connection to ourselves, getting to realign and get more acquainted and getting to know our deep soul self below the physical layers. And many people just do not take the time to do that. So I started thinking about it, and I thought about, okay, these feelings that we're chasing, these feelings that we want, maybe we're not getting it from the gym or just from working out on our body. So yes, it comes back to doing a lot of the inner work ourselves. But then I started thinking about, like, when we are going to the gym, when we are doing things for ourselves, when we are taking care of ourselves, physically, maybe mentally as well, why are we not getting the results of feeling those ways of feeling confident, feeling empowered, feeling like we're loving on ourselves or accepting our body? There's so many girls, there is just so many like unrealistic beauty standards. There is so much societal standards and pressure that we put on ourselves, that society puts on us, that puts in front of our face all the time, where we're constantly comparing, we're constantly kind of striving to maybe set ourselves up for this expectation of this ideal body or this ideal self-image, or we have this identity in our mind that we want to look like, and we don't look like that. So then you feel dissatisfied, like you have this standard or this expectation, think like this benchmark of what you want to achieve. You don't feel like you hit that benchmark. So you've got this gap, right? This gap in like lack of fulfillment, this dissatisfaction gap. And a lot of it comes back to the way that we see ourselves, the way that our identity of how we see ourselves, which gets shaped, which gets formed from so many different factors. So what you see in social media, what you see in women around you, like people that you hang around, or the people that you see that you're influenced by on TV or just around in social networks. It's this negative body image that we have, and that can also come from the way that you've been brought up. It can come from like your trauma or your personal experiences, or how people around you, or what somebody said to you when you were younger, or the way that your parents or caregivers showed up and how they made you feel. It can come from maybe what happened in high school. It can come from past relationships, love relationships, friendships, this feeling of just taking on subconscious programming from the people that you're around in your household. It can come from like a lack of connection and support, that you just haven't had the right people around you in your life. It can come from maybe you have had mental health challenges where you feel stressed, you feel anxious, you feel depressed, like you constantly are judging and criticizing on yourself, and your mind is just constantly programmed for negative because you've never done any inner work on yourself. It can come from this feeling because you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're giving so much to everybody else that you neglect yourself. You put yourself last because you're so busy caring for your family or caring for other people or having to present in a certain way or show up in this certain way, that your identity is shaped by the people around you, or this expectation of how you feel that you need to show up, that you're not being true to yourself. And when you're not true to yourself, it is the biggest discord, it is the biggest disconnect, it is the biggest resistance that you can have. So that's often why people kind of don't feel this feeling. And it's okay. Like, you can work on that. You can reprogram your subconscious beliefs. You can work on your mindset. You can work on reprogramming the way that you see yourself. But a lot of that comes back to the two problems: consistency and the spirituality. The spirituality is the missing piece. As far as I'm concerned, it is 100% something that a lot of people do not put time into, have not been. Let me go through the problems. Okay. This is why I think why there's a lack of spiritual in people's lives. I think that you've never been shown how, you've never been shown what to do. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. You don't know what spiritual inner work is. You don't know how to do it. Maybe that you just don't really value it. You don't see a need for it. Maybe you're striving for all these other things. You're focused on work, or you're focused on, achievements, and you're focused on things that you have to do, that you go, I just don't have time. I don't have time to do the inner work. I don't have time to work on myself because I'm just so busy trying to survive. It could be because you're afraid of it. Like you're scared. I know a lot of women that are scared of it. They feel it's a bit hippie. They feel it's a bit woo, a bit weird. And humans have this basic need to be accepted, this basic need to be liked, this need to be comfortable in your nervous system, this need to fit in. And if you start doing some things that are not, let's just say in inverted commas, socially acceptable, it is getting more socially acceptable, which is amazing. It is getting more mainstream. But if you, how dare you step outside of the box of what everybody else does and go and do something different to your partner, different to your friendship circles, different to the way that you were conditioned, the way that maybe you've been brought up as an academic, maybe you've been brought up like that's weak, like, you've focused on doing and striving and achieving all the time. That's how you are wired. You might see the spiritual or the inner work as just woo, weird, don't really care for it, don't have time for it, and you're just not interested. But there could be a part of you that is just curious. There could be a part of you that is just starting to see it show up in other people or hearing things from other people. I have many, because I can relate to this, right? Like, I know when I went through a big, let me say, like a spiritual awakening, which has been happening like over, God, when did my Nana pass away? 2013. So that's over 12 years ago when I kind of first heard about the law of vibration, the law of attraction and energy and vibration. And I'm like, what the hell is that? This was at a seminar that I went to, but I was curious. I had this spark of curiosity that I went along and I learned a bit more. I went to the next workshop. Did I tell anyone? Hell no. I did not tell anybody. And I started dabbling in it. I started buying books from Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks. I still remember the first kind of real deep spiritual book I bought was, because it had money in the title, was Money and the Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks. And I learned a lot of the principles about law of vibration, about law of attraction, that I started then diving into more and more books. So I was curious. Did I tell anyone when I started? Then I started doing Reiki. I started doing going to energy healers, psychic mediums. I bought my own went to a crystal shop, got a deck of cards, started lighting incense around the house, brought some sage. Did I tell anyone for a long time? Nope. Did not tell anybody. I was like this kind of closet spiritual user and this kind of closet, what would Tom say? Sometimes are you doing, or the kids would say you're doing your weird hippie stuff. And so for a long time, I didn't have the courage to tell anybody. So I was exploring, I was experimenting, I was seeing what worked and what didn't, but I kind of kept it to myself. And you might feel like that too. I have so many women that say to me, quietly after class or in women's circle, they're starting to come out a little bit more and go I am a closet angel card reader, I use my cards, or I have crystals and I hide them from my husband, or I use a little bit of sage, or I light candles, and slowly their partners are starting to be a little bit more open to it. But they're curious, and some women just do not have any. They just don't see the value in it at all, because they just have never been shown, they've never been taught, they don't know how, and they just don't care for it. And that is okay. If that's you, that is totally fine. We're all at different stages. There's no right or wrong stage. But the inner work, the spiritual work, and spiritual work can come under so many things, girls. It can come under, God, there are so many, I won't go into them all now, but there are so many tools and practices and rituals that you can do. I mean, yoga is a form of spiritual work, or spiritual healing, or spiritual aligned movement. There's so many different rituals and practices that you can do. But when I hear people say that, they often say, I don't have time, right? I think the overall masking excuse is, I don't have time, which comes back to, I just don't value it enough yet. Because people invest time into the things they value. I know people that say, I don't have time, and this might be you. I'm sure you find time to scroll on social media. I'm sure you find time to watch a Netflix series. I'm sure you find time to just throw your brain at the TV, or, you do the things that you feel are important to you. You switch off in the way that you feel that you need, because it's comfortable, because it's familiar. So that's kind of where I feel that a lot of people lack the inner work. And that is something that I want to change. I want to normalize spirituality. I want to show you, girls, if I can show you these tools, these rituals, these mindset shifts, these reprogramming of your subconscious mind, if I can teach you how to connect with God, source, angels, your spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your soul self, if you could connect more with your intuition, and it steers you in the right direction, and it gives you guidance, and it helps you, avoid obstacles, and it helps you make decisions. I mean, I bought this house because I saw a feather and an eagle, right? And I trusted, I just went on my gut. I didn't look at factual things. I followed my intuition and I followed my guidance. Even though I had a little bit of a doubt, a little bit of fears coming up, my gut just said this is the right thing. And my spiritual mind, I've learned to trust in myself over all of the years of development that I have done. That is literally how I bought this house. And I actually said to the estate agent, yep, there's an eagle. And I just saw a feather float down when I was talking to him out the front of the property. I went, oh yeah, there's a feather. All right, I need this house. And Riley works for him and she's like, oh my God, Mum, did you say that to my boss? I'm like, yeah, I did, babe. But because you start to learn about signs, about synchronicities, about this inner alignment, about trusting yourself, that it actually gives you this sense of like this internal guiding compass to help you on your path, to help you make decisions, to help you navigate your life. Like, isn't that something that is going to help you? Like, why would you not, as far as I'm concerned? But that is one thing that I think a lot of women lack, but are opening up a lot more, which is amazing. Like wellness and inner work and spirituality is definitely on the trend. Like it's definitely becoming more mainstream acceptable. It is definitely going into a new earth, a new phase, a new way of wellness and healing and taking exquisite care of ourselves. It is on the rise. So, and that's why you're here, because that's something that you're interested in and that's something that you want to do for yourself. The second problem, let's just say problem, that I see in women is lack of consistency. Like over all the years that I have been working with women, like I mentioned earlier, I see this constant stop start. I see women that maybe just don't even have the courage to start all together. They have maybe this value of, or they feel like they value their health, or they feel like they want to value their health, but their actions aren't aligning with it. They're not taking the consistent action steps. They're not forming habitual or they're not, forming habits and actions in alignment with their values. Because why? Like we're busy. Like things are just hectic. People are struggling, taking on so much these days and striving for so many things and trying to make ends meet and keep their head above water and run kids around and work. And there's so much going on that often causes people to start. Life happens. Things, get busy. Women might start exercising, start coming to the studio, start going to the gym, start a fitness routine at the beginning of the year when like a new year or come summer. And then why do they stop come winter or after they've maybe hit the goal, or maybe they've tried to hit the 5-kilo weight loss and they never got there? Because it becomes too hard and it becomes too... factors get in the way. Sometimes something can happen that like rocks you, where it could be something that happens in your life, where it could be a job change or something happens to one of the kids, or you get sick, or something just life happens, right? Like just something happens in your life. What's the first thing? Money can get tight. What's the first thing that people give up? Looking after themselves. Like the first thing to go is often that consistent habit. And especially like when you've been sick or you've been hit with something, it's hard to get the motivation to get back into it, right? And so often it comes because, due to time, due to money, like not having enough time, or, it's just so busy running around and caring for everybody else, or things change in your financial situation, or maybe you just feel guilty, maybe you start taking care of you and then guilt kicks in. You start feeling guilty that it's taking time away from your husband, your kids, or your family, and that you should be spending time or money on them and you can't be spending it on yourself. Or so guilt often kicks in as well. Your association, people that you hang around, and your association girls, sometimes that can be your husband, like sometimes it can be your partner, where they don't exercise, they don't take care of themselves. You're around them all the time, that maybe you feel a little bit guilty, like they're at home and I'm chuffing off to the gym again, or I'm going to a class again, and they might say things that make you feel guilty, oh, you're going to that thing again, you're going to that women's circle again. I hear it from girls all the time, like, the husbands will say things like that, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily trying to intentionally sabotage you. It's just because they feel a little bit neglected, or they feel that they're not doing their own thing, so they put their fear, or they put their limiting belief, or their block, or their, they put their emotion on you. So then what do? You go, oh, I feel bad, so I'll stop. So sometimes it can be the people that you hang around. Maybe you're hanging around people that just like your friendship circles or your work, groups, that they just don't value it. And so you go back into your old ways. And often that's what we do, is we go back to our old ways. You might start something for a period, might start getting results. Maybe you just get bored of it. Maybe you find it too hard. You just struggle with it. You eventually go back to your old ways, because the nervous system, the body, always looks for familiarity. It always looks for what feels safe, what feels comfortable, what feels that I can just kind of breathe. And so the body, the nervous system, often takes you back to your previous ways, unless you've done some kind of subconscious reprogramming, unless you have done some kind of work on shifting your identity and shifting your values. Because even motivation, girls, like a lot of people say, I just lost motivation. I don't have the motivation to do it anymore. Motivation is a feeling. Motivation is like fleeting. Motivation comes and goes. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Things get hard. People lose motivation and they quit, because they're relying on motivation. They're relying on this feeling to get them going, instead of actually making it a consistent habit or a consistent ritual, which comes back to your identity around how you see yourself. Because when your identity, like for instance, I am someone who works out, I have thought like that for over 20 years. That's my identity. So that's where I feel comfortable. So my habits are in alignment with my identity. And so that comes back to like your values and how you see yourself. I see myself as a woman who always works out. I see myself as a woman who always takes exquisite care of herself, because why? I know that my values are to have experiences with my kids, to have energy to keep up with life, to keep up with my family, to keep up with my husband, to have life experience. That's one of my biggest values. And I need a fit and healthy and able body to be able to do that. So I prioritize time into these habits over the years. And I remember reading, I think it was Tony Robbins. He said, it's not what we do once in a while that shapes us, it's what we do consistently that shapes us. So that is one of the biggest problems that I see. And I remember a quote by, I've been reading personal development stuff for girls for a very long time. And John Maxwell, a book I read many years ago, and he said, the secret to success is found in your daily routine. And I love that quote. And so it comes back to setting up these daily routines. So they're the two things that I feel that are probably the, I guess the two factors that are the two problems that I see women struggle with the most is consistency and the inner work. So I was thinking about all of these things, and I was thinking about, like even working with women, even myself. I have worked with coaches since my 30s. I've spent over 100K and 10,000 hours easy on coaches, personal trainers, business coaches, mentors, courses, teacher trainings, on books that I've bought, like programs that I've bought, podcasts that I listen to. I used to buy CDs and listen to like these kind of personal development like kits, like these packs. I've spent so much money, and I was on a mission to grow, and I was on a mission to just really get better and improve my life. So I have worked with coaches for a long time. I've done a lot of mindset work, a lot of physical work, done a lot of courses, done a lot of work on myself, that I know every time I worked with a coach, every time I did something that was uncomfortable, because let me tell you girls, like even handing over money for some of these things felt a little bit uncomfortable at times. Getting out of my comfort zone with things that I had to do in a coaching container was uncomfortable. Getting up at like 4 or 3:30 in the morning to go and work out to fit it in before my kids got up was uncomfortable. But I have made it a habit for many, many years for me to do things that are uncomfortable. I've made it a habit for me outside of my marriage, been with my husband since we were 16, love and adore him, but we don't always have to do and run everything by our partner. Like I have some clients who struggle to, they won't go and have lunch by themselves. They won't go and do anything without their partner. I really want to encourage you girls to your partners. One day someone's going to die, right? Like, so someday you could be on your own. As bad as that sounds, so bad, I just blurted that out. I don't know where it come from, but you're here for your own soul journey, right? Like, you're here for your own soul journey. Your partner could come and go. Your kids are going to grow up and move out of home. Your work environment's going to change. Your friendship circles are going to change. Things around you, circumstances are going to change all the time. Okay. We pray for many of us. I know that we pray, and I put it out there too, that I will just grow old with my husband, but we just don't know. Like, one thing that's certain in life is uncertainty. We do not know. So I've made it a habit over the years to get uncomfortable and do something for myself. Put myself, like, even with our partners, right? I was having a chat with a friend the other day, and she was running some business ideas by her. She's got her own business, talking to her partner, and she come away and she's like, I just feel shit after speaking to him. I actually feel worse that I made a decision. I actually don't have to talk to him about all my business stuff. I said, you don't. Like, talk to me, talk to this other person, talk to like-minded women who actually get it, right? And so have the confidence, girls, to get a little bit uncomfortable, to put yourself in situations where you're around like-minded people, where you're around people who are going to help lift you up, who are going to help inspire you. But girls, be okay to do things on your own without your partner or without a friend holding your hand. You will grow exponentially. I promise you. I absolutely promise you. Because when you do things on your own, you have your own goals, you have your own interests, you get out of your comfort zone regularly. You build that muscle of confidence. You build that strength in yourself. You feel more empowered that you can take on more things. And so I was starting to think about all of these things that I've done over the years, all the things I've done on my own, all the things I've done in health and fitness and mindset and spirituality, all the coaches and mentors and everyone that I've worked with. Then I started thinking about what do we want? Like, we want results. And sometimes we struggle on our own. And I would have women say to me, I come to the studio, I feel amazing, I feel at peace, I feel calm. Then I go home and I'm back in the rat race, I'm back with the kids and I lose it. Or they would say, like, I've run over the years many challenges, even in the studio, body, mind, soul challenges, that women would say, I get to the end of your 6 or no, it was usually like 8 or 12 week challenge. I get to the end and I don't want it to stop. I'm just learning so much. I want these habits to keep going. I don't want it to stop. Sure enough, plenty of them stopped. There's been lots that have stuck with it after the challenge, but so many have stopped. A big high percentage of women have stopped. I saw people come away on retreats with me and they say the same thing. Like, I just want this retreat feeling to like never end. I just want to stay in this retreat bubble forever. They would come to circles, women's circles, and just say, like, I get all pumped, I get motivated, and then it wanes off. And so I started to think around, what can I do for you guys this year? Like, how can I really help find solutions for, help navigate through those two biggest problems? And I thought to myself, like, over all of the years that I've worked in containers, I've got results, right? All the years I've got results, I have worked in a container either with a coach or with a mentor or in a group of like-minded peers. That has kept me accountable, that's kept me on track, that's kept me having to kind of keep showing up. I've had that time and money investment into it that I wanted to keep going. And it's made me look at myself. It's made me change a few things. It's made me change my habits. And it's got me results. So I was thinking on all of that. My brain, even though I had a couple of weeks off over Christmas, was like, my creative brain was on fire. And I thought about it and went, I need to start a Earthy Angels Collective, right? I need to do a 12-month coaching container. Well, then it'll end up being 11, right? Because by the time most women, again, I've worked with women for a long time, when are we ready to get back into the swing of things? Most of my demographic is mums, is when kids go back to school. You kind of need that week when they go back to school to get routine sorted, get them back off to school. Then the next week, you're good to go again. So I'm going to kick off an Earthy Angels Collective container, a 12-month, 11-month coaching program for 2026 for all of this year, girls. So I started thinking about it and I thought, what do I actually want for the women this year? I want you guys to have an intentional purposeful year. I want you to reach the goals that you want to reach. I want you to be in a community of like-minded women that are going to keep you on track, because I know you guys love this community. I have lots of women say to me all the time, I just love this community. I form friends, I've seen the friendships that have been formed. I've seen that people have started to change their ways, change their beliefs, change their habits, change their behaviors by getting into this environment. So I thought about all of that and I want a real deep immersive container for 12 months where I'm going to coach you, I'm going to mentor you, I am going to teach you the spiritual tools, I'm going to help rewire your subconscious beliefs, I'm going to help you with your habits, and I'm going to really help you get the results for yourself this year. I want to get you those things where you feel confident, you feel empowered, you feel in love with taking exquisite care of yourself, you feel that you accept your body, you accept the beautiful soul that you are, that you can return to this authentic soul self, because she's there, girl. She is always there. You just need to return home to find her. It's these layers that have been put on top of us that we just need to strip back and find who we are at our core level and return home to ourselves. And I'm going to take you through rituals and practices and help you get there so you feel more of this feeling of the freedom to be yourself, that you start nourishing and taking care of yourself, that I can get you 5 things I'm really looking for. 1, spirituality. Get you connected to that missing piece. Consistent spiritual practices. All those problems that people have said, I don't know how to do it. I don't value it. I don't have time for it. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I'm a bit afraid of the woo. I'm worried what people will think. I want to teach you. It can be normal, girls. It doesn't have to be like this weird hippie stuff. It can be normal practices that you integrate into your everyday life to help you get results and to help you fall back in love with the woman that you are, that authentic soul self that you are, and teach you how to use the spiritual tools to navigate your life to get you results. Movement. Girls, you've got to move your body. Like earthy angels, the top 2 things, earth angel, movement, spirituality, physical, higher self, okay? Like earthy angels is the integration of the two, the working on the outside and the working out and the working within. This is the biggest kind of, I guess, a lot of the foundation behind this collective container is get you consistently working on your earth angel body, your physical body, through movement, through self-care, through nourishment, through taking exquisite care of yourself, and getting connected with your soul self and bringing them together and aligning your body, mind, and soul. 3, habits, action, integration, actually following through. I want you to fall in love with taking care of you, not because you feel like you have to, not because you just want to have a goal of hitting 5 kilos, because I want to teach you just how good it feels to take good care of yourself forever, to nourish yourself, to fall in love with taking care of yourself, to give yourself the freedom to have that little bit of a rest, to listen to yourself. I want to help you with your habits, with food, with exercise, with keeping you on track. And that all comes back to getting clarity on your values. I'm going to go through all of this in the coaching container, getting back to your values so that your thoughts and your actions and your habits follow the alignment of your values. Number 4, girls, empowerment. I want to empower you with self-knowledge and wisdom, teaching you to trust yourself, teaching you to get connected with your intuition, teaching you the spiritual tools so that you feel that you don't need to go to other people. You've got the answers within. You do, I do. I want to connect you with that psychic medium ability. I want to open you up to your intuition. I want to teach you that you are so wise and empowered and strong, and it all lies within. We just need to find it, okay? And show you how to do that. And the 5th component of this container is community, is having this supportive, like-minded community around you, because you become who you hang around. I want to have this community of like-minded women that are going to lift each other up, that are going to actually be there for one another, that are going to, we can have fun together. We're going to have meetups, like we're going to have times where we're going to have get-togethers. Every quarter, we're going to have get-together. We're going to have online components where I'm going to do like a monthly training with you guys, like an online kind of live Zoom interactive workshop. Then I'm going to give you a weekly training, coaching every single week, minimum of one a week. I'm going to share, my feet are on fire. That's where energy kind of stirs through me and I know I'm on the right path. I'm going to share meditations with you. I'm going to share spiritual practices with you. I'm going to have it housed in this online container on this Ivory platform that I'm learning how to use. That's why it's taken me a bit of time. But it's an amazing platform. It's all going to be housed in there where you have access to these tools forever, okay? But I'm going to teach you the tools. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to help you stay on track and stay consistent for the year in this container, in this beautiful community of supportive women that are going to become your soul sisters. So many women say to me, I just need to meet some good like-minded people. I feel a bit alone. I'm not really gelling with the people I hang around. I'm feeling like people don't get me anymore. I'm feeling like I don't belong. I'm going to put you in a group of like-minded women that you are going to feel like you belong. You're going to learn from one another. You're going to be inspired from one another. You're going to relate to one another. You're going to form friendships, and we're going to have fun along the way. And the end of the day, what are we chasing? We're chasing, like I said, that feeling, and we're chasing results. Like, we don't want to get to the end of this coming year, 2026, and go, what just happened? I just reacted to life, got to the end of the year, and nothing has actually changed for me. Because that's what happens if like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing day after day and expecting a different result. You've got to make changes. If you want growth, you want transformation, you want results, you want to feel all those things about yourself, you have got to change what you are doing. Like, there is one thing that we always have to do in life is change and evolve and grow for the rest of our life. If you want results and you want more money, better relationships, better health, you want to manifest what you want that dream career or that great dream job, or find your purpose or feel fulfilled, you want more freedom, fun, joy, and adventure, all of those things come from doing different things, getting out of our comfort zone and changing and growing and evolving for the rest of your life. Otherwise, do the same thing, that's fine. You will stay in the exact same place, right? And so you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. That is the cold, hard truth, girls. If you don't do anything different, you are not going to have any different results. So that's where I've always looked at going, what can I do to help me grow, change, and evolve? And then I thought about it and thought I could run another 12-week program at the start of the year. I could do another challenge. And then I thought, you know what? Every time I've got real deep results and change that has last, I have immersed myself with a trainer or a coach for at least 1 to 2 years. And I have worked with that person, and they have helped me see stuff in myself that I didn't see. They have helped me get uncomfortable. They have held me accountable. They have taught me things. I have learned from them, and I've got growth. But it's not something I just did for a period and then quit. Like, it's something that I got immersed in. So that's why I wanted to have this immersive containers to set you up for an intentional year and teach you my angels framework, which is awareness, nourishment, guidance. So let me step you through. A, awareness, teaching you to be self-aware, having awareness in what's working, what's not working, and how we can change it, and teaching you it's a constant process of awareness. And nourishment, taking exquisite care of yourself, girls, nourishing your body, mind, and soul. I'm going to set you habits to do that. G is guidance, teaching you, like I've had women say, oh, it's all right for you. I see you all the time. Or I see other women see signs, see numbers, see synchronicities. I don't. And then I've had women who've been around me long enough go, guess what? I'm seeing the signs now. I'm seeing things show up for me because they've been consistent, right? So G is for guidance, learning to connect in with that. The guidance from above, God, source, universe, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. Opening you up so that you hear that guidance, because it's always there. We just need to get you connected and get you awakened, right? E is for energetics, understanding your energy, understanding like the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the energy you're putting out, how to reprogram your subconscious beliefs, how to change your energy, how energy helps you manifest what you want. And it also shows up in, bringing things into you that you don't want until you rewire your energy. So E is for your energetics, ANGEL. L is for love. L is right back into that divine divine feminine girls of softness. There is power in softness. There is power in self-care, seeing the world through the eyes of love, seeing other women through the eyes of love, seeing yourself through the eyes of love, seeing the beauty in the world around us, connecting back to that feminine energy of love for ourselves, love, and just showing up with more of a listening to our heart as opposed to listening to our head. And S is for surrender, surrendering, letting go of perfection, letting go of control, trusting in the divine plan, surrendering things over to the universe, and just showing you how to live a life with more trust as opposed to trying to control and predict and analyze and constantly controlling your whole life. When you learn to surrender to the flow of life, girls, life becomes more effortless. You have more ease, you have more flow in your life. So I'll teach you that angels framework the whole way through. It is going to be an epic container. I'm so excited about it. All the details I will pop down on the show notes, and it'll be all over on social media as well. But we're going to kick off at the beginning of February. So I'm so excited about that because I want to solve those two big problems that a lot of women struggle with, the lack of consistency and the lack of doing the inner work, and give you this collective inner circle, feel like kind of this Angels VIP group where we are going to work together throughout the whole year for long-term results that are going to last beyond the year, girls. So I hope that has helped. I hope that's got you thinking. I hope that's maybe just reflect on how you've showed up over the years around your consistency, around your inner work, around what you can do to improve yourself, around what you can do to take better care of yourself, around the goals that you want, around your intention for the year, around what you want moving forward, around clarity of your values. And if honestly, if you need help with this, I am here for you girls. I am here. If you just want to tap in and just kind of dip your toes in the water, we've got so many offerings for you as well, like the studio, the podcast, like the day retreats. I will be having retreats with this exclusive group of women as well. I forgot to mention that. There will be some things that we'll kind of be doing together as a group throughout the year as well. But you've got resources that you can tap into. Come to a women's circle, come to yoga, come and start moving your body, come and start taking care of yourself, and just put yourself first. Jump on a good book. Oh, and I'm going to have a book club. I thought about this and I went, I'm going to have a book club in this because everybody needs to be a reader. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if you read, if you Kindle, if you listen to an audiobook, there is wisdom in knowledge, but then we need to apply it. So we're going to have a bit of a book club as well, where we're going to be reading books throughout. It's just going to be epic. All the things that I've done over the years, this accumulation of like over 20 years, putting it into this coaching program is going to help you. But if you're not there yet, that's totally fine. Dip your toes in and just go, what is one thing that I can start doing for myself moving forward for the next season, the next cycle, the next year, that is in alignment with my values. Go back to my previous episode, which talks all around having an intentional, purposeful year, talks about your values. But just connect with us, girls. And no, you do not have to be a studio member to do this program. Anybody can jump on board this coaching collective, but stay connected. We have a lot to offer. We have an amazing community, which I love and adore. And I look forward to working with you in some capacity, if it's not in the studio or the coaching or retreat or a women's circle. Reach out, send me a message. I love chatting with you guys. I just love helping women. It's what I'm really, really, really passionate about, and teaching you that Earth Angel philosophy, taking care of your physical and bringing it in conjunction with taking care of your spiritual. I will leave it there, my friends. Have the most beautiful, beautiful day. And remember, the secret to success is found in your daily routine, girls. What are you doing for you today? So much love to you. Bye.